Wow. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you wherever you are in the world, and welcome to The Show Must Go Online. My name is Amelia Bagnon. I am a London-based Caribbean creative, actor, director, empowerment coach, and healer, and I am ever so proud to present Christopher Marlowe's Dido, Queen of Carthage this evening. The Show Must Go Online is a movement that believes in Shakespeare for everyone. 2020 was a difficult year for many. TSMGO, blooming like a lotus at night, created 40 online shows, including Shakespeare's entire first folio in chronological order. The shows now have more than 250,000 views from over 60 countries and have involved over 500 actors and creatives while winning several awards and critical acclaim in the process. Tonight, we are delighted to continue this tradition in the midst of a very special celebration, the month of Marlowe. Each and every Wednesday this month in June, TSMGO presents a new and exciting production inspired by the plays of Marlowe. Tonight, I am so proud to present Dido, Queen of Carthage, a modern imagining of a play which I feel is always going to be in time. Tonight's production will start in approximately 10 minutes. While you wait, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, remembering, of course, to tickle that bell icon to get notifications whenever we post, and follow us on TSMG Online Live on Twitter, or The Show Must Go Online on Instagram and Facebook. You can also post your reactions to this show with the hashtag The Show Must Go Online, hashtag Dido Queen of Carthage, hashtag Month of Marlowe. Now, please be aware that tonight's performance does include suicide, breach of consent, simulated harm to animals or creatures, adult themes, sounds and states of undress, mental health, PTSD, depression and anxiety. Yes, folks, it is a tragedy, but I promise it shall not be all dark and heavy. Keep an eye. Now it's time to introduce tonight's play. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce to the stage Margo Hendricks. Yes. Miss Margo Hendricks is Professor Emerita UC Santa Cruz, a recipient of the 2020 to 2021 Folger Library Fellowship. She has received a number of academic grants and fellowships to support her writing. Co-editor with Patricia Parker of Women, Race and Writing in the Early Modern Period, Margo has published essays on Shakespeare, Marlowe, pre-modern critical race, early modern women, and whatever else takes her fancy. Other research projects include Heliodorus Daughters, Black Women and Romance, and Shakespeare's Negress, an academic memoir, sort of. She writes and publishes romance fiction under the pen name Elysabeth Grace. Margo, the play is Dido, Queen of Carthage, and the floor, my love, is yours.
Thank you. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say good evening or good afternoon or good morning, depending on what time zone you're in. I want to thank you for allowing me to wax poetic about my third favorite Christopher Marlowe play. The first one is Tamburlaine, and then The Jew of Malta. Dido is the one play that I've written about, and it is the one play that I probably had the most interesting things to say. I find Marlowe's plays are patriarchal, imperialist, and deeply lyrical. Dido exhibits this tendency, I think, more than Marlowe's other plays because of his depiction of Dido. The story of Dido and Aeneas is a simple one. Divine intervention, Venus on behalf of her son Aeneas, a woman willing to die for love, think Cleopatra, in Dido, and the genesis of an empire. Aeneas' son, Ascanius, is considered foundational to Roman history via Julius Caesar. The question I always come back to when reading or teaching Dido is why doesn't she just act on revenge? Why does she commit suicide? Especially when we consider that Marlowe doesn't really make his male protagonist follow that path. For example, Tamerlane, he kills other people, but it's not suicidal. That leads me to the second question I've often explored when teaching, reading, and thinking about Dido, Queen of Carthage. Why perform it? It is a 500-year-old play. There's so many other things going on in the world that could be written about, that can be staged, that can be performed. Why Dido? So I'd like to maybe put out for the audience some of my thinking about why I continued to read, and when I was teaching, to teach Dido as one of the premier plays that fell within the canon of Renaissance and early modern play scripts. Dido is written in a specific cultural, political, and economic context, the 16th century in England. There were things going on, settler colonialism, imperialism, colonialism, and the transatlantic slave trade. Our economic and political systems are very different, and yet we are descendants of the context within which Marlowe wrote this play. The global dynamics that we now currently occupy have redefined the discourse of imperialism and colonialism, which informed Marlowe's writings, so that they don't have as much in common with the configuration with our world. But I think they set on the stage and in print the way in which we see our world at times. So why perform? Why read? Why write about a play script like Dido, Queen of Carthage? First and foremost, the play is so much fun. Oh my God, the language is gorgeous. The characters, all right, I'm an individual who believes tragedies are hilarious. I weep at the comedies, I laugh at the tragedies. And I think there is so much to find humorous about Marlowe's play. I also think it's an example of the way in which literary adaptation and revision can work in a movement from the epic form, the epic poetic form, to the theater form. I think Marlowe does a brilliant job with the Aeneid. Of course, the revisions are specific to his culture, but the adaptation is wonderful. I'd also like to suggest that the racial ideologies that inform our world were being worked out in text, such as Dido and Tamerlane, the Jew of Malta, and even Dr. Faustus. We tend to look to Shakespeare for some of the calibrations, but I think we might have to go a little earlier and look at Marlowe. Thus, in the end, while we may want to dissociate ourselves from the past, which we often do, and that is a reason why many people don't want to read these plays or see them performed, I want to suggest that the past refuses to dissociate itself from us. It keeps us locked in, even as we try to get out. And play scripts like Dido, Queen of Carthage are a vivid reminder of that unwillingness of the past to let us go. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're after my own heart. I'm super excited. Everything you said, I was like, yes, 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 yes. Fabulous. Thank you so much for that fabulous and informative introduction. Now, are we ready? Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, the show is about to begin. Get ready, lean in, don't pass out because it's about to go down. Please settle in and enjoy Christopher Marlowe's Dido, Queen of Carthage.
Act 1, Scene 1, Mount Olympus.
Come, Ganymede, and play with me. I love thee well. Say Juno what she will.
I am much better for your worthless love, that will not shield me from her shrewish blows. Today, when as I filled into your cups, and held the cloth of pleasance whilst you drank. She reached me with such a rap, for that I spilled, as made the blood run down mine ears.
What? Dares she strike the darling of my thoughts? My Saturn's soul and this earth-threatening hair that shaken thrice makes nature's buildings quake. I vow, if she but once frown on thee more, to hang her, meteor-like, twixt heaven and earth, and bind her hand and foot with golden cords, as once I did for harming Hercules.
Might I but see that pretty sport afoot, oh, how would I with Helen's brother laugh, and bring with eagle's wings, grace my immortal beauty with this boon, and I will spend my time in thine arms.
What is, sweet wag, I should deny thy youth, whose face reflects such pleasures to mine eyes? As I exhaled with thy fire-darting beams, have oft driven back the horses of the night, when as they would, have hailed thee from my sight. Sit on my knee, and call for thy content, control proud fate, and cut the thread of time. Why? Are not all the gods at thy command, and heaven and earth the bounds of thy delight? Vulcan shall dance to make thee laughing sport, and my 9 daughters sing when thou art sad. From Juno's bird I'll pluck her spotted pride, to make thee fans wherewith to cool thy face, and Venus' swans shall shed their silver down to sweeten out the slumbers of thy bed. Hermes no more shall show the world his wings, if that thy fancy in his feathers dwell. But as this one, I'll tear them from him. Do that thou say, their colour pleaseth me. Hold here, my little love, these linked gems my Juno wore upon her marriage day. Put about thy neck my own sweetheart, and trick thy arms and shoulders with my theft.
I would have a jewel for mine ear, and a fine brooch to put into my hat, and I will hug with you 100 times.
And shall have Ganymede, if thou wilt be my love.
This is it. You can sit toying there and playing with that female wanton boy, while my Aeneas wanders on the seas and rests a prey to every billow's pride. Juno, false! Juno, in her chariot's pomp, drawn through the heavens by steeds of Boreas' brood, made Hebe to direct her airy wheels into the windy country of the clouds, where, finding Aeolus entrenched with storms and guarded with 1,000 grisly ghosts, she humbly did beseech him for our bane, and charged him drown my son with all his train. Then 'gan the winds break ope their brazen doors, and all Aeolia be up in arms. Poor Troy must now be sacked upon the sea, and Neptune's waves be envious men of war. Epeius' horse to Aetna's hill transformed, prepared stands to rack their wooden walls, and Aeolus, like Agamemnon, sounds the surges, his fierce soldiers to the spoil. See how the night, Ulysses-like, comes forth and intercepts the day as dull and erst. Ah, me! The stars, surprised like Rhea's steeds, are drawn by darkness forth of Straea's tents. What shall I do to save thee, my sweet boy, when as the waves do threat our crystal world, and Proteus, raising hills of flood on high, intends ere long to sport him to the sky? False Jupiter, reward'st thou virtue so? What? Is not piety exempt from woe? Then die, Aeneas, in thy innocence, since that religion hath no recompense.
Content thee, Cytherea, in thy care. Since thy Aeneas' wandering fate is firm, whose weary limbs shall shortly make repose in those fair walls, I promised him of yore. But first, in blood, must his good fortune bud, before he be the lord of Turner's town, or force a smile that hitherto hath frowned. 3 winters shall he with the Rutiles war, and in the end subdue them with his sword, and full 3 summers likewise shall he waste in managing those fierce barbarian minds, which once performed poor Troy so long suppressed. From forth her ashes shall advance her head, and flourish once again that erst was dead. But bright Ascanius, beauty's better work, who with the sun divides one radiant shape, shall build his throne amidst these starry towers, that earth-born Atlas, groaning under props, no bounds but heaven shall be his empery, whose azured gates, enchased with his name, shall make the morning haste her grey uprise, to feed her eyes with his engraven fame. Thus, in stout Hector's race, 300 years the Roman sceptre royal shall remain, till a princess priest, conceived by Mars, shall yield to dignity a double birth, who will eternish Troy in their attempts.
How may I credit these thy flattering terms, when yet both sea and sands beset their ships, and Phoebus, as in Stygian pools, refrains to taint his tetras in the Tyrrhene main?
I will take order for that presently. Hermes, awake! And haste to Neptune's realm, whereas the wind god, warring now with fate, besieges the offspring of our kingly loins, charging from me to turn his stormy powers and fetter them in Vulcan's sturdy brass, that thus thou proudly wrong our kinsman's peace. Venus, farewell. Thy son shall be our care. Come, Ganymede, we must about this gear.
This quiet seas, lay down thy swelling looks, and court Aeneas with thy calmy cheer, whose beauteous burden well might make you proud, had not the heavens, conceived in hell-born clouds, veiled his resplendent glory from thy view. For my sake, pity him, Oceanus, that erstwhile issued from thy watery loins, and had my being from thy bubbling froth. Triton, I know, hath filled his trump with Troy, and therefore will take pity on his toll, and call both Theseus and Cymodocea to succor him in this extremity.
Act 1, Scene 2. The shore near Carthage.
What do I see? My son, now come on shore. Venus, how art thou compassed with content, the while thine eyes attract their sought for joys. Great Jupiter! Still honored mayst thou be for this so friendly aid in time of need. Oh, here in this bush disguised will I stand, while my Aeneas spends himself in plaints, and heaven and earth with his unrest acquaints.
You sons of care, companions of my course, Priam's misfortune follows up by sea, and Helen's rape doth haunt thee at the heels. How many dangers have we overpassed? Both barking Scylla and the sounding rocks, the Cyclops shelves and grim Coronia's seat have you overgone, yet remain alive. Pluck up your hearts, since fate still rests our friend, and changing heaven made those good days return, which Pergama did vaunt in all her pride.
Brave Prince of Troy, thou only art our god, that by thy virtues freest us from annoy and makest our hopes survive to coming joys. Do thou but smile, and cloudy heaven will clear, whose night and day descended from thy brows. Though we now be in extreme misery and rest the map of weather-beaten woe, yet shall the aged sun shed forth his hair to make us live unto our former heat. And every beast the forest doth send forth bequeath her young ones to our scanted food.
Oh, father, I faint. Good father, give me meat.
Alas, sweet boy, thou must be still a while, till we have fire to dress the meat we killed. Gentle Achates, reach the tinder box that we may make a fire to warm us with, and roast our newfound victuals on this shore.
What strange arts necessity finds out? How near my sweet Aeneas art thou driven?
Hold. Take this candle, and go light a fire. You shall have leaves and windfall boughs enow near to these woods to roach your meat withal. Ascanius, go and dry thy drenched limbs, while I with my Achates rove abroad, to know what coast the wind has driven us on, or whether men or beasts inhabit it.
The air is pleasant, and the soil most fit for cities and society supports. Yet much I marvel that I cannot find no steps of men imprinted in the earth.
Now is the time for me to play my part. Oh, young man! Saw you as you came, any of all of my sisters wandering here, having a quiver girded to her side and clothed in a leopard spot skin?
I neither saw nor heard of any such, but what may I, fair virgin, call your name, whose looks set forth no mortal form to view, nor speech bewrays aught human by thy birth? Thou art a goddess that deludest our eyes and shrouds thy beauty in this borrowed shape. But whether thou be the sun's bright sister, or one of chaste Diana's fellow nymphs, live happy in the height of all content, and lighten our extremes with this one boon, as to instruct us under what good heaven we breathe as now, and what this world is called on which by tempest fury we are cast. Tell us, oh, tell us that are ignorant, and this right hand shall make thy altars crack with mountain heaps of milk-white sacrifice.
To honor, stranger, do I not affect. It is the use for Tyrian maids to wear their bow and quiver in this modest sort, and suit themselves in purple for the nonce, that they may trip more lightly o'er the lawns, and overtake the tusked boar in chase. But for the land whereof thou dost inquire, it is the Punic kingdom, rich and strong, adjoining on Edrenor's stately town, the kingly seat of southern Libya, where Sidonian Dido rules as queen. But what are you that ask me of these things? Whence may you come, or whither will you go?
Of Troy am I. Aeneas is my name, who, driven forth by war from my native land, put sails to sea to seek out Italy. My divine descent from sceptred Jove. With twice 12 Phrygian ships I plowed the deep, and made that way my mother Venus led. But of them all scarce 7 do anchor safe, and they so racked and welted by the waves as every tile tilts twixt their oaken sides, and all of them, unburdened of their load, are ballasted with billows' watery weight. But hapless I, God wot, poor and unknown, do trace these Libyan deserts all despised, exiled forth Europe and wide Asia both, and I have not any coverture but heaven.
Fortune hath favored thee, whate'er thou be, in sending thee unto this courteous coast. A God's name, on, and haste thee to the court, where Dido will receive thee with her smiles. And as for thy ships, which thou supposest lost, not one of them hath perished in the storm, but are arrived safe, not far from hence. And so I leave thee to thy fortune's lot, wishing good luck unto thy wandering steps.
Achates, 'tis my mother that is fled. I know by the movings of her feet. Stay, gentle Venus, fly not from my son. Sucro, why wilt thou forsake me thus, or in these shades deceive mine eyes so oft? Why talk we not together hand in hand, and tell our griefs in more familiar terms? But thou art gone, and leavest me here alone, to dull the air with my discoursive moan.
Act 1, Scene 3. Within the walls of Carthage.
Follow, ye Trojans! Follow this brave lord and plain to him the sum of your distress.
Why, what are you? Or wherefore do you sue?
Wretches of Troy, envied of the winds that crave such favour at your honest feet, as poor distressed misery may plead. Save our ships from cruel fire that do complain the wounds of 1,000 waves, and spare our lives whom every spite pursues. We come not, we, to wrong your Libyan gods, or steal your household lares from their shrines. Our hands are not prepared to lawless spoil, nor armored to offend in any kind. Such force is far from our unweaponed thoughts, whose fading wheel of victory forsook forbids all hope to harbour near our hearts.
But tell me, Trojans if you be, unto what fruitful quarters were ye bound before that Boreas buckled with your sails?
There is a place, Hesperia termed by us, an ancient empire famous yet for arms, and fertile in fair Ceres' furrowed wealth, which now we call Italia, of his name that in such peace long time did rule the same. Thither made we, when suddenly gloomy Orion rose, and led our ships into the shallow sands, whereas the southern wind, with brackish breath, dispersed them all amongst the wrackful rocks. From thence, a few of us escaped to land. The rest, we fear, are folded in the floods.
Brave men at arms, abandon fruitless fears, since Carthage knows to entertain distress.
Aye, but the barbarous sort do threat our ships, and will not let us lodge upon the sands. In multitudes they swarm unto the shore, and from the first earth interdecked our feet.
Myself will see they shall not trouble ye. Your men and you shall banquet in our court, and every Trojan be as welcome here as Jupiter to silly Baucis' house. Come in with me. I'll bring you to my queen, who shall confirm my words with further deeds.
Thanks, gentle lord, for such unlooked-for grace. Might we but once more see Aeneas' face, then would we hope to quite such friendly terms as shall surpass the wonder of our speech.
Act 2, Scene 1. Outside the walls of Carthage, near a temple of Juno.
Where am I now? These should be Carthage walls.
Why stands my sweet Aeneas thus amazed?
Oh, my Achates, Theban Niobe, who for her son's death wept out life and breath, and dry with grief was turned into a stone, had not such passions in her head as I. Methinks that town there should be Troy. Yon, Ida's hill. There, Xanthus' stream. Because here's Priamus. And when I know it is not, then I die.
And in this humour is Achates too. I cannot choose but fall upon my knees and kiss his hand. So where is Hecuba? Here she was wont to sit. But saving air is nothing here. And what is this but stone?
Oh, yet this stone doth make Aeneas weep. And would my prayers, as Pygmalions did, could give it life, that under his conduct we might sail back to Troy and be revenged on those hard-hearted Grecians which rejoice that nothing now is left of Priamus. Oh, Priamus is left, and this is he. Come aboard, pursue the hateful Greeks.
What means Aeneas?
Achates, though mine eyes say this is stone, yet thinks my mind that this is Priamus. And when my grieved heart sighs and says no, then would it leap out to give Priam life. Would I not at all so thou mightst be? Achates, see, King Priam wags his hand, he is alive! Troy is not overcome!
Thy mind, Aeneas, that would have it so deludes thy eyesight. Priamus is dead.
Aye. Troy is sacked, and Priamus is dead. And why should 4 Aeneas be alive?
Sweet father, leave to weep. This is not he, for were he Priam, he would smile on me.
Aeneas, see, here come the citizens. Leave to lament, lest they laugh at our fears.
Lords of this town, or whatsoever style belongs unto your name, vouchsafe of ruth to tell us who inhabits this fair town, what kind of people and who governs them, for we are strangers driven on this shore and scarcely know within what clime we are.
I hear Aeneas' voice, but see him not, for none of these can be our general.
Like Ilioneus speaks this nobleman, but Ilioneus goes not in such robes.
You are Achates, or I am deceived.
Aeneas sees Augustus or his ghost.
He names Aeneas. Let us kiss his feet.
It is our captain. See Ascanius.
Long live Aeneas and Ascanius.
Achates, speak, for I am overjoyed.
Oh, Ilioneus, art thou yet alive?
Blessed be the time I see Achates' face.
What turns, Aeneas, mistrusty friends?
Sergestus, Ilioneus, and the rest, your sight amazed me. Oh, what destinies have brought my sweet companions in such plight? Oh, tell me, for I long to be resolved.
Lovely Aeneas, these are Carthage walls, and here Quin Dido wears the imperial crown, who, for Troy's sake, hath entertained us all and clad us in these wealthy robes we wear. Oft hath she asked us under whom we served, and when we told her, she would weep for grief, thinking the sea had swallowed up thy ships. And now she sees thee, how will she rejoice?
See, where her servitors pass through the hall bearing a banquet. Dido is not far.
Look where she comes. Aeneas, view her well.
Well may I view her, but she sees not me.
What stranger art thou, that dost eye me thus?
Sometime I was a Trojan, mighty queen. But Troy is not. What shall I say I am?
Renowned Dido, 'tis a general, warlike Aeneas.
Warlike Aeneas? And in these base robes? Go fetch the garment which Zacchaeus wear. Brave prince, welcome to Carthage and to me, both happy that Aeneas is our guest. Sit in this chair and banquet with a queen. Aeneas is Aeneas, were he clad in weed as bad as ever Irus wore.
This is no seat for one that's comfortless. May it please your grace to let Aeneas wait, for though my birth be great, my fortune's mean. Too mean to be a companion to a queen.
Thy fortune may be greater than thy birth. Sit down, Aeneas. Sit in Dido's place, and if this be thy son, as I suppose, here, let him sit. Be merry, lovely child.
This place beseems me not. Oh, pardon me.
I'll have it so. Aeneas, be content.
Madam, you shall be my mother.
And so I will, sweet child. Be merry, man. Here's to thy better fortune and good stars.
In all humility, I thank your grace.
Remember who thou art. Speak like thyself. Humility belongs to common grooms.
And who so miserable as Aeneas is?
Lies it in Dido's hands to make thee blessed? Then be assured thou art not miserable.
Oh, Priamus. Oh, Troy. Oh, Hecuba.
May I entreat thee to discourse at large, and truly too how Troy was overcome. For many tales go of that city's fall, and scarcely do agree upon one point. Some say Antior did betray the town, others report 'twas Sinon's perjury. But all in this, that Troy is overcome, and Priam dead. Yet how? We hear no news.
A woeful tale bids Dido to unfold, whose memory, like death's stony mace, beats forth my senses from this troubled soul, and makes Aeneas sink at Dido's feet.
What? Faints Aeneas to remember Troy, in whose defence he fought so valiantly? Look up and speak.
Then speak, Aeneas, with Achilles' tongue. And Dido, and you Carthaginian peers, hear me, but yet with Myrmidon's harsh ears, daily inured to broils and massacres, lest you be moved too much with my sad tale. The Grecian soldiers, tired with 10 years' war, began to cry, "Let us to our ships! Troy is invincible. Why stay we here?" At whose outcries Atrides, being appalled, summoned the captains to his princely tent, who, looking on the scars we Trojans gave, seeing the number of their men decreased and the remainder weak and out of heart, gave up their voices to dislodge the camp, and so in troops all marched to Tenedos, where when they came, Ulysses on the sand essayed with honey words to turn them back, and as he spoke, to further his employ, the winds did drive huge billows to the shore, and heaven was darkened with tempestuous clouds. Then he alleged the gods would have them stay, and prophesied Troy should be overcome. And therewithal he called false Sian forth, a man compact of craft and perjury, whose ticing tongue was made of Hermes' pipe, to force 100 watchful eyes to sleep. And him, Appius having made the horse, with sacrificing wreaths upon his head, Ulysses sent to our unhappy town, who, grovelling in the mire of Xanthus' banks, his hands bound at his back and both his eyes turned up to heaven as one resolved to die, our Phrygian shepherds hailed within the gates and brought unto the court of Priamus, to whom he used actions so pitiful, looks so remorseful, vows so forcible, as therewithal the old man, overcome, kissed him, embraced him, and unloosed his bands, and then, oh, Dido, pardon me.
Nay, leave not here. Resolve me of the rest.
Oh, the enchanting words of that base slave made him to think Appius' pine tree horse a sacrifice to appease Minerva's wrath. Rather, for that one Laocoon, breaking a spear upon his hollow breast, was with 2 winged serpents stung to death. Whereat, aghast, we were commanded straight, with reverence, to draw it into Troy, in which unhappy work was I employed. These hands did help to hale it to the gates, through which it could not pass, it was so huge. Oh, had it never entered, Troy had stood. But Priamus, impatient of delay, enforced a wide breach in that rampiered wall which 1,000 battering rams could never pierce. And so came in this fatal instrument, at whose accursed feet, as overjoyed, we banqueted, till, overcome with wine, some surfeited and others soundly slept, which sign on viewing caused the Greekish spies to haste to Tenedos and tell the camp. Then he unlocked the horse, and suddenly, from out his entrails, Neoptolemus, setting his spear upon the ground, leaped forth, and after him 1,000 Grecians more, in whose stern faces shined the quenchless fire that after burnt the pride of Asia. By this, the camp was come unto the walls, and through the breach did march into the streets, where meeting with the rest, kill, kill, they cried. Frighted with this confused noise, I rose, and looking from a turret, might behold infants swimming in their parents' blood, headless carcasses piled up in heaps, virgins, half dead, dragged by their golden hair and with main force flung unto a ring of pikes. Old men with swords thrust through their aged sides, kneeling for mercy to a Greekish lad who, with steel pole axes, dashed out their brains. Then buckled I mine armour, drew my sword, and thinking to go down, came Hector's ghost with ashy visage, bluish sulphur eyes, his arms torn from his shoulders, and his breasts furrowed with wounds, and that which made me weep, thongs at his heels, by which Achilles' horse drew him in triumph through the Greekish camp, burst from the earth, crying, Aeneas, flee! Troy is afire, the Grecians have the town.
Oh, Hector, who weeps not to hear that name.
Yet flung I forth, and desperate of my life ran into the thickest throngs, and with this sword sent many of their savage ghosts to hell. At last came Pyrrhus, fell and full of ire, his harness dropping blood, and on his spear the mangled head of Priam's younger son, and after him his band of myrmidons with balls of wildfire in their murdering paws, which made the funeral flame that burnt fair Troy. All which hemmed me about, crying, This is he!
Ah, how could poor Aeneas escape their hands?
My mother, Venus, jealous of my health, conveyed me from their crooked nets and bands. So I escaped the furious Pyrrhus' wrath, who then ran to the palace of the king. And at Jove's altar finding Priamus, about whose withered neck hung Hecuba, folding his hand in hers, and jointly both beating their breasts and falling on the ground, he, with his falchion's point raised up at once, and with Megaria's eyes stared in their face, threatening 1,000 deaths with every glance. To whom the aged king thus spoke, Achilles' son, remember what I was. Father of 50 sons, but they are slain. Lord of my fortune, but my fortune's turned. King of this city, but my Troy is fired. And now I'm neither lord, father, nor king. Yet who so wretched but desires to live? Oh, let me live, great Neoptolemus. Not moved at all, but smiling at his tears, this butcher, whilst his hands were yet held up, treading on his breast, struck off his hands.
Oh, end, Aeneas. I can hear no more.
At which the frantic queen leaped up on his face, and in his islands, hanging by their nails, a little while prolonged her husband's life. At last the soldiers pulled her by the heels and swung her howling in the empty air, which sent an echo to the wounded king, whereat he lifted up his bed-red limbs and would have grappled with Achilles' son, forgetting both his want of hands and strength, which he, disdaining, whisked his sword about, and from the wound thereof the king fell down. Then From the navel to the throat at once he ripped old Priam, at whose latter gasp Jove's marble statue 'gan to bend the brow, as loathing Pyrrhus for this wicked act. Then he, undaunted, took his father's flag and dipped it in the old king's chill cold blood, and then in triumph ran into the streets through which he could not pass for slaughtered men. So leaning on his sword he stood stone still, viewing the fire where which rich Ilion burned. By this I got my father on my back, this young boy in mine arms, and by the hand led fair Creusa, my beloved wife. Or when thou, Achates, with thy sword made sway, and we were round environed with the Greeks. There I lost my wife. And had we not fought manfully, I had not told this tale. Yet manhood would not serve. Of force we fled. And as we went unto the ships, thou knowest, we saw Cassandra sprawling in the streets, whom Ajax ravished in Diana's fane, her cheeks swollen with sighs, her hair all rent, whom I took up to bear unto our ships. But suddenly the Grecians followed us, and I, alas, was forced to let her lie. Then got we to the ships, and being aboard, Polysena cried out, Aeneas, stay, the Greeks pursue me, stay and take me in. Moved with her voice, I leaped into the seas, thinking to bear her on my back aboard, for all our ships were launched into the deep. And as I swam, she, standing on the shore, by cruel Myrmidon surprised, and after that, by Pyrrhus sacrificed.
Belting Ruth. Aeneas, leave.
Oh, what became of aged Hecuba?
How got Aeneas to the fleet again?
But how escaped Helen, she that caused this war?
Achates! Speak! Sorrow hath tired me quite.
What happened to the Queen we cannot shew. We hear they led her captive into Greece. As for Aeneas, he swam quickly back. And Helena betrayed dear Phobos, her lover, after Alexander died, and so was reconciled to Menelaus.
Oh, had that ticing strumpet ne'er been born. Trojan, thy rueful tale hath made me sad. Come, let us think upon some pleasing sport to rid me from these melancholy thoughts.
Fair child, stay thou with Dido's waiting maid. I'll give thee sugar almonds, sweet conserves, a silver girdle, and a golden purse. And this young prince shall be thy playfellow.
Are you Queen Dido's son?
Aye, and my mother gave me this fine bow.
Shall I have such a quiver and a bow?
Such bow, such quiver, and such golden shafts will Dido give to sweet Ascanius. For Dido's sake, I take thee in my arms and stick these spangled feathers in thy hat. Eat comfits in mine arms, and I will sing. Now is he fast asleep, and in this grove amongst green brakes I'll lay Ascanius and strew him with sweet-smelling violets, blushing roses, purple hyacinth. These milk-white doves shall be his sentinels, who, that if any seek to do him hurt, will quickly fly to Cythereus' fist. Now, Cupid, turn thee to Ascanius' shape, and go to Dido, who, instead of him, will set thee on her lap and play with thee. Then touch her white breast with this arrow head, that she may dote upon Aeneas' love, and by that means repair his broken ships, victual his soldiers, give him wealthy gifts, and he at last depart to Italy, or else in Carthage make his kingly throne.
I will, fair mother, and so play my part, as every touch shall wound Queen Dido's heart.
Sleep, my sweet nephew, in these cooling shades, free from the murmur of these running streams, the cry of beasts, the rattling of the winds, or whisking of these leaves. All shall be still, and nothing interrupt thy quiet sleep, till I return and take thee hence again.
Acts 3, Scene 1. A hall in Dido's palace.
Now, Cupid, cause the Carthaginian queen to be enamoured of thy brother's looks, convey this golden arrow in thy sleeve, lest she imagine thou art Venus' son, and when she strokes thee softly on the head, then I shall touch her breast and conquer her.
How long, fair Dido, shall I pine for thee? 'Tis not enough that thou dost grant me love, but that I may enjoy what I desire. That love is childish, which consists only in words.
Iarbus, know that thou, of all my wooers, and yet have I had many mightier kings, hast had the greatest favours I could give. I fear me, Dido hath been counted light in being too familiar with Iarbus, albeit the gods do know no wanton thought had ever residence in Dido's breast.
But Dido is the favour I request.
Fear not, Iarbus. Dido may be thine.
Look, sister, how Aeneas' little son plays with your garments and embraceth you.
No, Dido will not take me in her arms. I shall not be her son. She loves me not.
Weep not, sweet boy. Thou shalt be Dido's son. Sit in my lap, and let me hear thee sing.
Tiama turama tiama yeah, tiama 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 yeah, tiama tayana tiama yeah.
Oh, my child. Now talk another while, and tell me where thou learned this pretty song.
My cousin Helen taught it me in Troy.
Oh, how lovely is Ascanius when he smiles.
Will Dido let me hang about her neck?
Aye, wag, and give thee leave to kiss her too.
What will you give me now? Now, I have this fan.
Oh, take it, Ascanius, for thy father's sake.
Come, Dido, leave Ascanius, let us walk.
Go thou away, Ascanius shall stay.
Gentle queen, is this thy love to me?
Oh, stay, Iarbus, and I'll go with thee.
And if my mother go, I'll follow her.
Oh, why say'st thou here? Thou art no love of mine.
Iarbus, die, seeing she abandons thee.
No, live, Iarbus. What hast thou deserved, that I should say thou art no love of mine? Something thou hast deserved. Away, I say, depart from Carthage. Come not in my sight.
Am I not king of rich Gachulia?
Iarbus, pardon me, and stay a while.
Mother, look here.
What tellest thou me of rich Gachulia? Am I not queen of Libya? Then depart. I
go to feed the humour of my love, yet not from Carthage, not for 1,000 worlds.
Iarbus?
Doth Dido call me back?
No, but I charge thee, never look on me.
Then pull out both mine eyes, or let me die.
Wherefore doth Dido bid Iarbus go?
Because his loathsome sight offends mine eye, and in my thoughts is shrined another Jove. Oh, Anna, dost thou know how sweet love were? Forsworn I would endure this single life.
Poor soul, I know too well the sour of love. Oh, that Iarbus could but fancy me.
Is not Aeneas fair and beautiful?
Yes, and Iarbus foul and favourless.
Oh, is he not eloquent in all his speech?
Yes, and Iarbus rude and rustical.
Name not Iarbus, but sweet Anna. Say, is not Aeneas worthy of Dido's love?
Oh, sister, were you empress of the world, Aeneas well deserves to be your love. So lovely is he that where'er he goes, the people swarm to gaze him in the face.
But tell them, none shall gaze on him but I, lest their gross eyebeams taint my lover's cheek. Anna, good sister Anna, go for him, lest with these sweet thoughts I melt clean away.
Then, sister, you'll abjure Iarbus's love?
Yet must I hear that loathsome name again? Run for Aeneas, or I'll fly to him.
You shall not hurt my father when he comes.
No, for thy sake. I love thy father well. Oh, dull-conceited Dido, that till now didst never think Aeneas beautiful. For now, for quittance of that oversight, I'll make me bracelets of his golden hair. His glistening eyes shall be my looking-glass, his lips an altar, where I'll offer up as many kisses as the sea hath sands. Instead of music, I will hear him speak. His looks shall be my only library. And thou, Aeneas, Dido's treasury, in whose fair bosom I will lock more wealth than 20,000 Indians can afford. Oh, here he comes. Love, love, give Dido leave to be more modest than her thoughts admit, lest I made a wonder to the world. Achates, how doth Carthage please your lord?
Well, that will Aeneas shew your majesty.
Aeneas? Art thou here?
I understand your highness sent for me.
No, but now thou art here, tell me in sooth, in what might Dido highly pleasure thee?
So much have I received at Dido's hands, as without blushing I can ask no more. Yet, Queen of Afric, are my ships unrigged, my sails all rent in sunder with the wind, my oars broken and my tackling lost. Yea, all my navy split with rocks and shelves, nor stern nor anchor have our maimed fleet. Our masts the furious wind struck overboard, which piteous wants if Dido will supply, we will account her author of her lives.
Aeneas, I'll repair thy Trojan ships, conditionally that thou wilt stay with me, and let Achates sail to Italy. I'll give thee tackling made of rivalled gold, wound on the barks of odoriferous trees, oars of massy ivory full of holes, through which the water shall delight to play. Thy anchors shall be hewed from crystal rocks, which, if thou loose, shall shine above the waves. The mast whereon thy swelling sail shall hang, hollow pyramides of silver plate. The sails of folded lawn, where shall be wrought the wars of Troy, but not Troy's overthrow. For balance, empty Dido's treasury, take what ye will, but leave Aeneas here. Achates, thou shalt be so richly clad, as sea-born nymphs shall swarm about thy ship, and wanton mermaids court thee with sweet songs, flinging in favours of more sovereign worth than Theseus hangs about Apollo's neck, so that Aeneas may but stay with me.
Wherefore would Dido have Aeneas stay?
A war against my bordering enemies. Aeneas, think not Dido is in love. Or, if that any man could conquer me, I had been wedded ere Aeneas came. See, where the pictures of my suitors hang, and are not these as fair may be?
I saw this man at Troy ere Troy was sacked.
Aye, this in Greece when Paris stole fair Helen.
This man and I were at Olympus's games.
Oh, this face? He is Persian-born. I travelled with him to Aetolia.
And I in Athens, with this gentleman, unless I be deceived, disputed once.
But speak, Aeneas. Know you none of these?
No, madam, but it seems that these are kings.
All these, and others which I never saw, have been most urgent suitors for my love. Some came in person, others sent their legates, yet none obtained me. I am free of all, and yet, God knows, entangled unto one. This was an orator, and thought by words to compass me, but yet he was deceived. And this, a Spartan courtier, vain and wild, but his fantastic humours please me not. This was Acleon, a musician, but played he near so sweet I let him go. This was the wealthy king of Thelasse, but I had gold enough and cast him off. This Malgason, a warlike prince, but weapons agree not with my tender years. The rest are such as all the world well knows. Yet now, I swear, by heaven and him I love, I was as far from love as they from hate.
Oh, happy shall he be whom Dido loves.
And never say that thou art miserable, because it may be thou shalt be my love, yet boast not of it, for I love thee not, and yet I hate thee not. Oh, if I speak, I shall betray myself. Aeneas, we two will go a-hunting in the woods, but not so much for thee. Thou art but one. As for Achates and his followers...
Act 3, Scene 2. A grove near Carthage.
Here lies my hate, Aeneas, cursed brat. The boy wherein false destiny delights, the heir of fame, the favourite of the fates, that ugly imp that shall outwear my wrath and wrong my deity with high disgrace. But I will take another order now, and race the eternal register of time. Troy shall no more call him her second hope, nor Venus triumph in his tender youth. For here, in spite of heaven, I'll murder him and feed infection with his let-out life. Say, Paris, now shall Venus have the ball? Say, vengeance, now shall her Ascanius die? Oh no. God, what? I cannot watch my time. nor quit good turns with double fee down told. I am simple, without minds to hurt, and have no gall at all to grieve my foes. But lustful Jove and his adulterous child shall find it written on confusion's front that only Juno rules in Rhamnus town.
What should this mean? My doves are back returned who warned me of such danger pressed at hand, to harm my sweet Ascanius' lovely life? Juno, my mortal foe, what make you here? Avaunt, old witch, and trouble not my wits.
Aye, Venus, that such causeless words of wrath should e'er defile so fair a mouth as thine. Are not we both sprung of celestial race, and banquet as two sisters with the gods? Why is it then displeasure should disjoin whom kindred and acquaintance co-unites?
Out, hateful hag! Thou wouldst have slain my son had not my doves discovered thine intent. But I will tear thine eyes from forth thy head and feast the birds with their blood-shodden falls, if thou but lay thy fingers on my boy.
Is this, then, all the thanks that I shall have for saving him from snakes and serpent stings that would have killed him sleeping as he lay? What? Though I was offended with thy son and wrought him mickle woe on sea and land, when for the hate of Trojan Ganymede that was advanced by my Hebe's shame and Paris' judgment of the heavenly ball, I mustered all the winds unto his rack and urged each element to his annoy. Yet now I do repent me of his ruth and wish that I had never wronged him so. Bootless, I saw it was to war with fate that hath so many unresisted friends. Wherefore I changed my counsel with the time and planted love where envy erst had sprung.
Sister of Jove, if that thy love be such as these thy protestations do paint forth, we two, as friends, one fortune will divide. Cupid shall lay his arrows in thy lap, and to a scepter change his golden shafts. Fancy and modesty shall live as mates, and thy fair peacocks by my pigeons perch. Love my Aeneas, and desire is thine. The day, the night, my swans, my sweets are thine.
More than melodious are these words to me that overcloy my soul with their content. Venus, sweet Venus, how may I deserve such amorous favors at thy beauteous hand? But that thou mayst more easily perceive how highly I do prize this amity, hark to a motion of eternal league, which I will make in quittance of thy love. Thy son, thou knowest, with Dido now remains, and feeds his eyes with favors of her court. She, likewise, in admiring, spends her time, and cannot talk nor think of aught but him. Why should not they then join in marriage, and bring forth mighty kings to Carthage town, whom casualty of sea hath made such friends? And, Venus, let there be a match confirmed betwixt these two whose loves are so alike, and both our deities conjoined in one shall chain felicity unto their throne.
Well could I like this reconcilement's means. Oh, but much I fear my son will ne'er consent, whose armed soul already on the sea darts forth her light unto Aeneas' shore.
Fair queen of love, I will divorce these doubts and find the way to weary such fond thoughts. This day, they both a-hunting forth will ride into these woods adjoining to these walls, when in the midst of all their gamesome sports, I'll make the clouds dissolve their watery works and drench sylvanous dwellings with their shores. Then, in one cave the queen and he shall meet, and interchangeably discourse their thoughts,
whose short conclusion will seal up their hearts unto the purpose which we now propound.
Sister, I see you savor of my wiles. Be it as you will have it for this once. Meantime, Ascanius shall be my charge, whom I will bear to Ida in mine arms, and couch him in Adonis' purple down.
Acts 3, Scene 3. The Woods.
Aeneas, think not but I honour thee, that thus in person go with thee to hunt. My princely robes thou seest are laid aside, whose glittering pomp Diana's shroud supplies. All fellows now disposed alike to sport. The woods are wide, and we have store of game. Fair Trojan, hold my golden bow a while, until I gird my quiver to my side. Lords, go before. We two must talk alone.
Ungentle. Can she wrong Iarbus so? I'll die before a stranger have that grace. But we two will talk alone. What words be these?
What makes Iarbus hear of all the rest? We could have gone without your company.
But duty and love led him on, perhaps, to press beyond acceptance to your side.
Why, man of Troy, do I offend thine eyes, or art thou grieved thy betters pressed so nigh?
Oh, now, Catalian, are ye grown so brave to challenge us with your comparisons? Peasant, go seek companions like thyself, and meddle not with any that I love. Aeneas, be not moved at what he says, for otherwhile he will be out of joint.
Woman may wrong by privilege of love, but should that man of men, I don't accept, have taunted me in these opprobrious terms, I would have either drunk his dying blood, or else I would have given my life in gage.
Huntsmen, why pitch you not your toils apace, and rouse the light-footed deer from forth their lair?
See Ascanius in his pomp, bearing his hunt spear bravely in his hands.
Yea, little son, are you so forward now?
Aye, mother, I shall one day be a man, and better able unto other arms. Meantime, these wanton weapons serve my war, which I will break betwixt a lion's jaw.
What? Darest thou look a lion in the face?
Aye, and outface him too. Do what he can.
How like his father speaketh he in all.
And mought I live to see him sack rich Thebes, and load his spear with Grecian princes' heads. Then would I wish me with Anchises' tomb, and dead to honour that hath brought me up.
Might I have lived to see thee shipped away, and hoist aloft on Neptune's hideous hills. Then would I wish me in fair Dido's arms, and dead to scorn but hath pursued me so.
Stout friend Achates, dost thou know this wood?
Well, as I remember, here you shot the deer that saved your famished soldiers' lives from death when first you set your foot upon the shore. And here we met fair Venus, virgin-like, bearing her bow and quiver at her back.
Oh, how these irksome labours now delight and overjoy my thoughts with their escape. Who would not undergo all kind of toil to be well stored with such a winter's tale?
Aeneas, leave these dumps and let's away. Some to the mountains, some unto the soil, you to the valleys, thou unto the house.
Aye. This it is which wounds me to death. To see a Phrygian far set to the sea preferred before a man of majesty. Oh, love. Oh, hate! Oh, cruel woman's heart would imitate the moon in every change and like the planets ever love to range. What shall I do, thus wronged with disdain? Revenge me on Aeneas or on her? On her? Oh, fond man, that were a war against the heavens. With one shaft provoke 10,000 darts. This Trojan's end will be thy envy's aim, whose blood will reconcile thee to content and make love drunken with thy sweet desire. But Dido, that now holdeth him so dear, will die with very tidings of his death. But time will discontinue her content and mould her mind onto new fancy shapes. Well of heaven, turn the hand of fate onto that happy day of my delight, and then... What then? Iarbus shall but love, so doth he now, though not with equal gain. Thou resteth in the rival of thy pain, who ne'er will cease to soar, till he be slain.
Acts 3, Scene 4. A cave.
Aeneas!
Dido!
Tell me, dear love, how found you out this cave?
By chance, sweet queen, as Mars and Venus met.
Why, that was in a net where we are loose, and yet I am not free, or would I were.
Why, is it that Dido may desire and not obtain, be it in human power?
The thing that I will die before I ask, and yet desire to have before I die.
Is it not aught Aeneas may achieve?
Aeneas, no. Although his eyes do pierce.
What? Hath Iarbus angered her in aught, and will she be avenged on his life?
Not angered me, except in angering thee.
Who then of all so cruel may he be that should detain thy eye in his defects?
The man that I do eye where I am, whose amorous face like Haen's sparkles fire, when as he butts his beams on Flora's bed, Prometheus hath put on Cupid shape, and I must perish in his burning arms. Oh, Aeneas, quench these flames.
What ails my queen? Is she fallen sick of late?
Not sick, my love, but sick I must conceal my torment that it boots me not reveal. And yet I'll speak, and yet I'll hold my peace. Shame her worse, I will disclose my grief. Aeneas, thou art he. What did I say? Something it was that now I have forgot.
What means fair Dido by this doubtful speech?
Nay, nothing but Aeneas loves me not.
Aeneas' thoughts dare not ascend so high as Dido's hearts, which monarchs might not scale.
It was because I saw no king like thee, whose golden crown might balance my content. But now that I have found what to effect, I follow one that loveth fame for me, and rather had seen fair in Siren's eyes than to the Carthage queen that dies for him.
If that your majesty can look so low as my despised worths that shun all praise, with this my hand I give to you my heart, and vow, by all the gods of hospitality, by heaven and earth and my fair brother's boa, by Paphos, Capys, and the purple sea from whence my radiant mother did descend, and by this sword that saved me from the Greeks, never to leave these new upreared walls whilst Dido lives and rules in Juno's town. Never to like or love any but her.
What more than Delian music do I hear, that calls my soul from forth his living seat, to move unto the measures of delight, come in clouds, that sent forth such a courteous form, as may disdain to fly to fancy's mirth. Without love, in mine arms, make thy Italy, whose crown and kingdom rest thy command, to carry Caius, not Aeneas, be thou called, the king of Carthage, not Anchises' son. Hold. Take thou these jewels at thy lover's hand, these bracelets, and this wedding ring. These golden bracelets and this wedding ring wherein my husband wooed me yet a maid. And be thou king of Libya by my gift.
Exeunt.
Well, who else is getting hot in here? Collins, this is your 5-minute interval. You have 5 minutes, my lovelies, to go refresh your drinks, refresh yourselves, pat yourselves down, maybe open a window, stand in front of a fan, and prepare for the second half. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome to the stage the amazing Matthew Rhodes. Bam, bam.
There we go. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Matthew Rhodes, the lead producer for The Show Must Go Online. I'm also working with our phenomenal associate director and stage manager and master of props to bring the month of Marlowe to your screens. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and for your contribution to support the artists that you're seeing. I'm here to give a special thank you to our Patreon supporters, who are a key part of our mission that Shakespeare and classical theater is for everyone. The performance you're watching tonight and the month of Marlowe overall could not be possible without the ongoing support from our Patreon. Your support means that we can work across time zones and continents and oceans to bring a truly digital, truly global theatrical movement to life. From the bottom of our hearts and from around the world, thank you. If you're a new patron, welcome! Make sure to check out all the amazing Patreon exclusives, such as our Sonnet Project, 154 poems interpreted and performed by 154 actors, with 2 sonnets every week. You may even see some familiar faces from tonight. There are also behind-the-scenes clips, interviews, vlogs, and more. If you're enjoying what you're seeing tonight, The Show Must Go Online Patreon is truly the place to be. If this incredible early modern content sounds too good to be true, it's not too late to join our Patreon. The link is in the down there part in the description of the video. Finally, if you enjoy the performance and you're like me and you never have too many Shakespeare shirts or theatrical memorabilia, we would like to invite you to our Redbubble shop. On the Redbubble, we have a First Folio tour shirt with all the shows and dates of our First Folio collection, as well as other TSMGO branded products, like this beautiful mug here. There's also stunning artwork made by Carly Sponzo, featuring memorable moments and characters from across our incredible performances. You can find the link also in the video description. Thank you, everyone, for your contribution and for joining us this evening. Even as things begin to reopen in parts of the world, it is so special that you choose to continue to gather with us. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. And I'm going to pass it back over to Amelia and Honey and Margo for a little discussion on what we're seeing so far.
Thank you very, very much, Matthew. Thank you. And I hope all of you groundlings are having a wonderful time. Those of us watching from behind the scenes are like screaming with excitement and happiness and joy at watching this cast do amazing work. So we are blessed, lucky, over the moon to have Margo with us. Margo, how are you finding the show so far? Oh, Edwin, how are you finding the show so far?
Oh, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I think it's moved up to number 2 now in my top 3 Marlowes as a result of the production. Because one, Aeneas, oh my God. Yeah. And Dido, like, Okay, I'm going to be pissed at the end of the production, so I've got to go to the doctor, but so I'm going to watch it, but I'm going to be pissed because she should kill him rather than.
That feels like it makes more sense. Yeah, right?
Yes, she's a queen.
Like, it just makes more sense.
She's a queen. She's imperial, and it's this moment where you see the foreshadowing of Cleopatra.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it is that moment. And so, but I'm loving this. The actors are absolutely fantastic. The lines are delivered brilliantly. And Iarbus, I love you, but it's just great. I'm sorry. I just, it's kind of hard to find the words.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh.
It's God.
I mean, how do I know some conversations have been happening in the chat about whose fault all of this is. I mean, it kind of feels like a 3-on-2, like the gods versus Dido and Aeneas. You've got Juno, you've got Jupiter, and it's like a real big goopy situation. Like how are you feeling? Who are you blaming?
I leave it. I'm a firm believer, at least for the early modern, that fate has an incredible role to play in what is happening, and the gods represent the embodiment of fate. But Marlowe also was a very strong believer in free will. Mm. And so you do have to lay so much of the blame at the feet of the individual players. They have choices to make. And emotionally, they should not be making some of these choices, especially Dido, because of her position as queen.
Yeah.
And for Aeneas, you have to understand he is driven, and therefore he makes his choices rightfully based upon acting out on his face. Iarbus, complicated. So I do think for Marlowe, the person, and this is always the conflicted position I'm in, Dido fails as a monarch. And I hate to keep alluding to Cleopatra, but in the same way that Cleopatra fails. And I think it comes back to a gendered reading of the relationship between the woman's body and the state. And so I'm hoping that anyone who sees this begins to recognize that Dido is almost doomed to fail once she falls in love. And so I get mad at Marlowe about that one. I mean, I love the language. I love the beauty. I love everything about this, except I think you are driven to blame Dido for what happens to her and have compassion for Aeneas.
Oh, no, I'm blaming Cupid. I'm just saying.
I'm saying what Marlowe says. I agree with you. Venus and her son, like, wrong people.
Really wrong. That's meant to be your child. Behave better. Yeah. Come on.
Stay out of this. Let them be. He could just as easily rule Carthage as he could Italy.
Even like at that time in that period of history, I love Italy now, but it wasn't even something.
No, there was nothing there.
Fighting and leaving people and letting them die over.
Yeah, there was nothing there. Not even a city.
Wonderful. Matt, how much time have we got?
That is about time that we have. Thank you so much, Margo. It was great.
Thank you so much. Right, my darlings, backstage.
I'm going to say bye to everyone, though, because I'm off. Thank you. Yes. Invite me back anytime. I know all this shit. Stuff.
I love you so much. We will have a link somewhere to Margo's work. Please go and check it out. Thank you so much. That is unfortunately all we have time for. Right. I'm going to invite you to take a seat, get comfortable. Groundlings, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, please, I welcome you to the second half of Dido, Queen of Carthage.
4, Scene 1. Before the Cave.
Did ever men see such a sudden storm, or day so clear, so suddenly o'ercast?
I think some fell enchantress dwelleth here that can call them forth whenever she please, and dive into black tempest treasury when how she means to master the world of clouds.
In all my life, I never knew the like. It hailed, it snowed, it lightened all at once.
I think it was the devil's reveling last night. It was such a hurly-burly in the heavens. Doubtless Apollo's axle tree is cracked, or aged Atlas shoulder out of joint. The motion was so over violent.
In all this coil, where have you left the queen?
Nay, where's my warlike father? Can you tell?
Behold, where both of them come forth the cave.
Come forth the cave? Can heaven endure this sight? Iarbus, curse that unrevenging Jove whose flinty darts leapt in Typhus' den of these adulterers surfeited with sin. Nature, why mayst me not some poisonous beast that with the sharpness of my edged sting I might have staked them both onto the earth whilst they were sporting in this darksome cave?
The air is clear and southern winds are west. Come, Dido, let us hasten to the town, since gloomy Aeolus doth cease to frown.
Achates and Ascanius, well met.
Fair Anna, how escaped you from the shower?
As others did, by running to the wood.
Where were you, Iarbus, all this while?
Not with Aeneas in this ugly cave.
I see Aeneas sticketh in your mind, but I will soon put by that stumbling block and quell those hopes that thus employ your cares.
Act 4, Scene 2. An apartment in the dwelling of Iarbus.
Come, servants! Come, bring forth the sacrifice that I may pacify this gloomy Jove whose empty altars have enlarged our ills. Eternal Jove, great master of the clouds, father of gladness and all frolic thoughts that with thy gloomy hand corrects the heaven, when airy creatures war amongst themselves. Here! Here! Oh, here! Iarbus' plaining prayers, whose hideous echoes make the welkin howl. And all the woods Eliza to resound. The woman that thou willed us entertain was straying in our borders up and down. She craved the hide of ground to build a town, with whom we did divide both our laws and our lands, and all the fruits that plenty else sends forth. Scorning our loves and royal marriage rights, she yields up her beauty to a stranger's bed, who, having wrought her shame, is straightway fled.
The cable goes.
Now, if thou beest a pitying God of power, on whom ruth and compassion ever waits, redress these wrongs and warn him to his ships that now afflict me with his flattering eyes.
Oh, now, Iarbus, at your prayers so hard?
Aye, Anna. Is that all you would from me?
Nay, no such weighty business of import, but may be slacked until another time. Yet, if you would partake with me the cause of this devotion that detaineth you, I would be thankful for such courtesy.
Anna, against this Trojan do I pray, who seeks to rob me of thy sister's love and dive into her heart by coloured looks.
Oh, alas, poor king, that labour so in vain for her that so delighteth in thy pain. Be ruled by me, and seek some other love, whose yielding heart may yield thee more relief.
Mine eye is fixed where fancy cannot start. Leave me. Oh, leave me to my silent thoughts that register the numbers of my roof, and I will either move the thoughtless flint or drop out both mine eyes in drizzling tears before my sorrow's tide have any stint.
I will not leave Iarbus, whom I love, in this delight of dying pensiveness. Away with Dido! Anna be thy song, Anna, that both admired thee more than heaven.
I may nor will list to such a loathsome change, but intercepts the course of my desire. Servants, come, fetch these empty vessels here, for I will fly from these alluring eyes, but do pursue my peace where it goes.
Iarbus, stay! Loving Iarbus, stay, for I have honey to present thee with. Hard-hearted, wilt not deign to hear me speak? I'll follow thee with outcries nevertheless, and strew thy walks with my dishevelled hair.
Act 4, Scene 3. An apartment in Dido's palace.
Carthage, my friendly host, adieu. Since destiny doth call me from thy shore, Hermes this night, descending in a dream, hath summoned me to fruitful Italy. Jove wills it so. My mother wills it so. Let my Phynissa grant, and then I go. Grant ye or no, Aeneas must away, whose golden fortune, clogged with courtly ease, cannot ascend to fame's immortal house, or banquet in bright honour's burnished hall till he hath furrowed Neptune's glassy fields and cut a passage through his topless hills. Achates, come forth! Sergestus, Ilioneus, Cloanthus, haste away, Aeneas calls.
What wills our lord, or wherefore does he call?
The dreams, brave mates, that did beset my bed when sleep but newly had embraced the night, command me leave these unrenowned reams, whereas nobility abhors to stay, and none but base Aeneas will abide. Aboard! Aboard, since fate do bid aboard, and slice the sea with sable-coloured ships, on whom the nimble winds may all day wait, and follow them as footmen through the deep. Yet Dido casts her eyes like anchors out to stay my fleet from loosing forth the bay. Come back, I hear her cry afar, and let me link thy body to my lips, that tied together by the striving tongues we may as one sail to Italy.
Banish that ticing dame from forth your mouth, and follow your foreseeing stars in all. This is no life for men at arms to live, where dalliance doth consume a soldier's strength, and wanton motions of alluring eyes effeminate our minds injured to war.
Why? Let us build a city of our own, and not stand lingering here for amorous looks. Will Dido raise old Priam forth his grave, and build the town again the Greeks did burn? No. No, she cares not how we sink or swim, so she may have Aeneas in her arms.
To Italy, Sweet friends, to Italy! We will not stay a minute longer here.
Trojans, aboard, and I will follow you. I fain would go, yet beauty calls me back. To leave her so and not once say farewell were to transgress against all laws of love. But if I use such ceremonious thanks as parting friends accustom on the shore, her silver arms will call me round about, and tears of pearl cry, "Stay, Aeneas, stay." Each word she says that will then contain a crown, and every speech be ended with a kiss. I may not endure this female drudgery. To see Aeneas. Find out Italy.
Act 4, Scene 4. Another apartment in Dido's palace.
Run, Hannah! Run to the waterside! They say Aeneas' men are going abroad. It may be he will steal away with them. Stay not to answer me. Run, Anna, run! Oh, foolish Trojans, that would steal from hence and not let Dido understand their drift. I would have given Achates store of gold, and Ilioneus gum, and Libyan spice, the common soldiers' rich embroidered coats, and silver whistles to control the winds which Circe sent Sagaeus when he lived. Unworthy are they of Queen's reward. See, where they come, how I might do to chide.
It was time to run. Aeneas had been gone. The sails were hoisted up, and he aboard.
Is this thy love to me?
Oh, princely Dido, give me leave to speak. I went to take my farewell of Achates.
How haps Achates bid me not farewell?
Because I feared your grace would keep me here.
To rid thee of that thought, doubt. Aboard again, I charge thee, put to sea, and stay not here.
Then let Aeneas go aboard with us.
Get you abroad. Aeneas means to stay.
The sea is rough, and the winds blow to the shore.
Oh, false Aeneas. Now the sea is rough, but when you were abroad 'twas calm enough. Thou and Achates meant to sail away.
Hath not the Carthage queen, mine only son? Thinks Dido I will go and leave him here?
Aeneas, pardon me, for I forgot that young Ascanius lay with me this night. Love made me jealous, but to make amends, wear the imperial crown of Libya. Sway thou the Punic sceptre in my stead, and punish me, Aeneas, for this crime.
This kiss shall be fair Dido's punishment.
Oh, how a crown becomes Aeneas's head. Stay here, Aeneas, and command as king.
How vain am I to wear this diadem and bear this golden sceptre in my hand. A virginet of steel, not a crown. The sword and not a sceptre become Aeneas.
Oh, keep them still, and let me gaze my fill. Now look, Aeneas, like immortal Jove. Oh, where is Ganymede to hold his cup, and Mercury to fly for what he calls 10,000 Cupids hover in the air, and fan it in Aeneas's lovely face? Oh, the clouds were here wherein thou fleest, that thou and I unseen might sport ourselves. Heaven, envious of our joys, is waxen pale, and when we whisper, then the stars fall down to be partakers of our honey talk.
Oh, Dido, patroness of all our lives, when I leave thee, death be my punishment. Swell, raging seas, frown, wayward destinies, blow winds, threaten ye rocks and sandy shelves. This is the harbour that Aeneas seeks. Let's see what tempests can annoy me now.
Not all the world can take thee from mine arms. Aeneas may command as many moors as in the sea are little water drops, and now, to make experience of my love, fair Anna, sister, lead my lover forth, and seated on my Janet, let him ride as Dido's husband through the Punic streets, and will my guard with Mauritian darts to wait upon him as their sovereign lord.
What if the citizens repine thereat?
Those that dislike what Dido gives in charge, command my guard to slay for their offence. Shall vulgar peasants storm at what I do? The ground is mine that gives them sustenance, the air wherein they breathe, the water fire. All that they have, their lands, their goods, their lives, and I, the goddess of all these, command Aeneas ride as Carthaginian king.
Aeneas for his parentage deserves as large a kingdom as is Libya.
I, and unless the destinies be false, I shall be planted in such rich a land.
Speak of no other land. This land is thine. Dido is thine. Henceforth, I'll call thee lord. Do as I bid thee, sister. Lead the way, and from a turret I'll behold my love.
Then here in me shall flourish Priam's race. And thou and I, Achates, for revenge, for Troy, for Priam, for his 50 sons, our kinsmen's lives, and 1,000 guiltless souls, will lead our host against the hateful Greece, and fire proud Lacedaemon o'er their heads.
Speaks not Aeneas like a conqueror? Oh, blessed tempest that did drive him in! Oh, happy sand that made him run aground! Henceforth you shall be our Carthage gods! Aye, but it may be he will leave my love, and seek a foreign land called Italy. Oh, that I had a charm to keep the winds within the closure of a golden ball, or that the Tyrian sea were in mine arms, that he might suffer shipwreck on my breast, as oft as he attempts to hoist up sail. I must prevent him. Wishing will not serve. Go bid my nurse take young Ascanius, and bear him in the country to her house. Aeneas will not go without his son. Yet, lest he should, for I am full of fear. Bring me his oars, his tackling, and his sails. What if I sink his ships? Oh, he will frown. Better he frown than I should die of grief. I cannot see him frown. It may not be armies of foes resolved to win this town, or impious traitors vowed to have my life. Affright me not. Only Aeneas's frown is that which terrifies poor Dido's heart. Not bloody spears appearing in the air presage the downfall of my empery, nor blazing comets threaten Dido's death. It is Aeneas's frown that ends my days. If he forsake me not, I never die, for in his looks I see eternity, and he'll make me immortal with a kiss.
Your nurse is gone with young Ascanius, and here's Aeneas tackling oars and spears.
Are these the sails that, in despite of me, packed with the winds to bear Aeneas hence? I'll hang ye in a chamber where I lie. Drive, if you can, my house to Italy! I'll set the casement open, that the winds may enter in, and once again conspire against the life of me, poor Carthage queen. But though ye go, he stays in Carthage still, and let rich Carthage fleet upon the seas, so I may have Aeneas in mine arms. Is this the wood that grew in Carthage plains? and would be toiling in the watery billows to rob their mistress of her Trojan guest. O cursed tree! Hast thou but wit or sense to measure how I prize Aeneas' love, thou wouldst have leaped from out the sailor's hands and told me that Aeneas meant to go. And yet I blame thee not. Thou art but wood. The water which our poets term a nymph, why did it suffer thee to touch her breast, and shrunk not back, knowing my love was there? The water is an element, no nymph. Why should I blame Aeneas for his flight? Oh, Dido, blame not him, but break these oars! These were the instruments that launched him forth. There's not so much as this base tackling too, but dares to heap up sorrow to my heart. Was it not you that hoisted up these sails? Why burst you not, and they fell to the seas? For this will Dido tie you full of knots, and shear ye all asunder with her hands. Now serve to chastise shipboys for their faults. Oh, ye shall no more offend the Carthage queen. Now, let him hang my favours on his masts, and see if those will serve instead of sails. For tackling, let him take up chains of gold, which I bestowed upon his followers, instead of oars. Let him use his hands, and swim to Italy. I'll keep these sure. Come, bear them in.
Act 4, Scene 3. An apartment in Dido's palace.
My lord Ascanius, you must go with me.
Where must I go? I'll stay with my mother.
No, thou shalt go with me unto my house. I have an orchard that hath store of plums, brown almonds, services, ripe figs and dates, dewberries, apples, and yellow oranges, a garden where are beehives full of honey, musk roses, and 1,000 sorts of flowers. And in the midst dost run a silver stream, where thou shalt see the red-gilled fishes leap, white swans, and many lovely waterfowls. Now speak, Ascanius, will ye go or no?
Come, I'll go. How far hence is your house?
But hereby, child, we shall get thither straight.
Nurse, I am weary. Will you carry me?
Aye, so you'll dwell with me and call me mother.
So you'll love me. I care not if I do.
That I might see this boy to be a man. How prettily he laughs. Go ye, wag. You'll be a twigger when you come to age. Say Dido what she will. I am not old. I'll be no more a widow. I am young. I'll have a husband or else a lover.
A husband and no teeth.
Oh, what mean I to have such foolish thoughts? Foolish is love, a toy. Oh, sacred love! If there be any heaven on earth, 'tis love. Especially in women of your years. Blush, blush for shame, why shouldst thou think of love? A grave and not a lover is thy age. A grave. Why, I may live 100 years. 80 is but a girl's age. Love is sweet. My veins are withered and my sinews dry. Why do I think of love? Now I should die.
Come, nurse.
Well, if he come a-wooing, he shall speed. Oh, how unwise was I to say him nay.
an apartment in Dido's palace.
Triumph, my mates! Our travels are at end. Here will Aeneas build a statelier Troy than that which grim Achates overthrew. Carthage shall vaunt her petty walls no more, for I will grace them with a fairer frame, and clad her in a crystal livery, wherein the day may evermore delight. From golden India, Ganges will I fetch, whose wealthy streams may wait upon her towers, and triple-wise entrench her round about. The sun from Egypt shall bring rich odours, wherewith his burning beams, like labouring bees, that load their thighs with Hybla's honey spoils, shall here unburden their exhaled sweets, and plant our pleasant suburbs with their fumes.
Oh? And what length or breadth shall this brave town contain?
Not past 4,000 paces at the most.
But what shall it be called? Troy, as before?
That have I not determined with myself.
Let it be termed Aeneas, by your name.
Rather Ascania, by your little son.
Nay, I will have it called Anchision, of my old father's name.
Aeneas, stay. Jove's herald bids thee stay.
Whom do I see? Jove's winged messenger. Welcome to Carthage, new erected town.
Why, cousin, stand you building cities here and beautifying the empire of this queen, while Italy is clean out of thy mind? Too forgetful of thine own affairs. Why wilt thou so betray thy sons, good hap? The King of Gods sent me from highest heaven to sound this angry message in thine ears. Vain man, what monarchy expects thou here? Or with what thought sleepst thou in Libya's shore? If that all glory hath forsaken thee, and thou despise the praise of such attempts, yet think upon Ascanius' prophecy, and young Iulius more than 1,000 years. Whom I have brought from Ida, where he slept, and bore young Cupid unto Cyprus Isle.
This was my mother that beguiled the queen, and made me take my brother for my son. No marvel, Dido, though thou be in love, that daily dandlest Cupid in thy arms. Welcome, sweet child. Where hast thou been this long?
Eating sweet comfits with Queen Dido's maid, who ever since hath lulled me in her arms.
Sergestus, bear him hence unto our ships, lest Dido spying keep him for a pledge.
Spend'st thou thy time upon this little boy, and givest not ear unto the charge I bring? I tell thee thou must straight to Italy, or else abide the wrath of frowning Jove.
How should I put into the raging deep, who have no sails nor tackling for my ships? What? Would the gods have me Deucalion-like float up and down where the billows drive? Though she repaired my fleet and gave me ships, yet hath she ta'en away my oars and masts, and left me neither sail nor stern aboard.
How now? Aeneas sad? Aw. What means these dumps?
Iarbus, I am clean besides myself. Jove hath heaped upon me such a desperate charge, which neither art nor reason may achieve, nor I devise by what means to contrive.
How, I pray? May I entreat you, tell?
With speeds he bids me sail to Italy, whereas I want both rigging for my fleet and also furniture for these my men.
Well, if that be all, then cheer thy drooping looks, for I will furnish thee with such supplies. Let some of those thy followers go with me, and they shall have what things soe'er thou needst.
Thanks, good Iarbus, for thy friendly aid. Achates and the rest shall wait on thee, whilst I rest thankful for this courtesy. Now will I haste unto Lavinian shore, and raise a new foundation to old Troy. Witness, gods, and witness heaven and earth how loath I am to leave these Libyan bounds. But that eternal Jupiter commands.
I fear I saw Ascanius' little son, led by Achates to the Trojan fleet. If it be so, his father means to fly. But here he is. Now, Dido, try thy wit. Aeneas, wherefore go thy men abroad? Why are thy ships new rigged? Or to what end launched from the heaven? Lie they in the road? Pardon me, though I ask. Love makes me ask.
Oh, pardon me if I resolve thee why. Aeneas will not fain with his dear love. I must from hence. This day, swift Mercury, whilst I was laying a platform for these walls, sent from his father Jove, appeared to me, and in his name rebuked me bitterly for lingering here, neglecting Italy.
But yet Aeneas will not leave his love.
I am commanded by immortal Jove to leave this town and pass to Italy. Therefore must of force.
These words proceed not from Aeneas' heart.
Not from my heart. For I can hardly go. Yet I may not stay. Dido, farewell.
Farewell? Is this the means for Dido's love? Do Trojans use to quit their lovers thus? Farewell, may Dido, so Aeneas stay. I die, if my Aeneas say farewell.
Then let me go, and never say farewell.
Let me go? Farewell? I must from hence. These words are poison to poor Dido's soul. Oh, speak like my Aeneas, like my love. When I looked out towards the sea, the time had been when Dido's beauty chained thine eyes to her. Am I less fair than whence thou saw'st me first? Oh, then, Aeneas, 'tis for grief of thee. Say thou wilt stay in Carthage with thy queen, and Dido's beauty will return again. Aeneas, say, how canst thou take thy leave? Wilt thou kiss Dido? Oh, thy lips have sworn to stay with Dido. Canst thou take her hand? Thy hand and mine have plighted mutual faith, therefore, unkind Aeneas, must thou say, then let me go and never say farewell.
O Queen of Carthage, wert thou ugly black, Aeneas could not choose but hold thee dear. And yet, he must not gainsay the gods' behest.
The gods? What? Gods be those that seek my death. Wherein have I offended Jupiter, that he should take Aeneas from mine arms? Oh no, the gods weigh not what lovers do. It is Aeneas calls Aeneas hence, and woeful Dido by these blubbered cheeks, by this right hand, and by our spousal rights, desires Aeneas to remain with her. Sin bene quid de te more, frut otu, tibe quodquam dulce meo, misere domus labentis et istum oro sequis ad hoc prebicus locus exumentem.
Disine neque tuis incendere teque quereles. Italiam non sponte sequor.
Hast thou forgot how many neighbour kings were up in arms for making me thy love? How Carthage did rebel, Iarbus storm, and all the world call me a second Helen for being entangled by a stranger's looks, so thou wouldst prove as true as Paris did. Would as fair Troy was, Carthage might be sacked, and I be called a second Helena. Had I a son by thee, the grief were less, that I might see Aeneas in his face. Now if thou goest, what canst thou leave behind, but rather will augment than ease my woe?
In vain, my love, thou spend'st thy fainting breath. If words might move me, I were overcome.
And wilt thou not be moved? with Dido's words. Thy mother was no goddess, perjured man, nor Dandarus, the author of thy stock. But thou art sprung from Cynthian Caucasus, and tigers of Hyrcania gave thee suck. Ah, foolish Dido, to forbear this one, wast thou not wrapped upon the Libyan shore, and camest to Dido like a fisher swain? Repaired not I thy ships, made thee a king, and all thy needy followers noblemen? Oh, serpent that came creeping from the shore, and I for pity harboured in my bosom, wilt thou now slay me with thy venom sting, and hiss at Dido for preserving thee? Go, go, and spare not, seek out Italy. I hope that which love forbids me do the rocks and seagulls will perform at large, and thou shalt perish in the billows' way, to whom poor Dido doth bequeath revenge. Aye, traitor! And the waves shall cast thee up, where thou and false Achates first set foot, which, if it chance, I give ye burial, and weep upon your lifeless carcasses. Though thou nor he will pity me a whit, why starest thou in my face? If thou wilt stay, leap into mine arms. Mine arms are open wide. If not, turn from me, and I'll turn from thee. For thou that hast the heart to say farewell, I have not power to stay thee. Is he gone? Aye, but he'll come again. He cannot go. He loves me too well to serve me so. Yet he that in my sight would not relent, will being absent be abjured still. By this is he got to the waterside, and see the sailors take him by the hand, but shrinks back, and now remembering me returns again. Welcome, welcome, my love. But where's Aeneas? He's gone! He's gone!
What needs my sister thus to rave and cry?
Anna, my Aeneas is abroad, and leaving me will sail to Italy. Once didst thou go, and he came back again, now bringing him back. And thou shalt be a queen, and I will live a private life with him.
Wicked Aeneas!
Call him not wicked, sister. Speak him fair, and look upon him with a mermaid's eye. Tell him I never vowed at Aulus Gulf the desolation of his native Troy, nor sent 1,000 ships into the walls, nor ever violated faith to him. Request him gently, Anna, to return. I crave but this, he stay a tide or two, that I may learn to bear it patiently. If he depart the suddenly I die. Run, Anna, run! Stay not to answer me!
I go, fair sister. Heaven grants good success.
Oh, Dido, your little son Ascanius is gone. He lay with me last night, and in the morning he was stolen from me. I think some fairies have beguiled me.
Oh, cursed hag! And false dissembling wretch! Thou slay'st me with thy harsh and hellish tale. Thou, for some petty gift, hast let him go, and am I thus deluded of my boy? Away with her, to prison presently! Traitorous, two-guined and cursed sorceress!
I know not what you mean by treason. I am as true as any one of yours.
Away with her. Suffer her not to speak. My sister comes. I like not her sad looks.
Before I came, Aeneas was aboard, and spying me, hoist up the sails amain. But I cried out, Aeneas, false Aeneas, stay. Then gan he wag his hand, which yet held up, made me suppose he would have heard me speak. Then gan we drove into the ocean, which, when I viewed, I cried, Aeneas, stay! Dido, fair Dido, bid you stay. Yet he, whose hearts of adamant or flint, my tears nor plaints could molly a whit. Then carelessly I rent my hair for grief, which is seen to all, though he beheld me not. They can't move him to redress my ruth and stay a while to hear me what I could say. But he climbed under hatches and sailed away.
Oh, Anna! I will follow him!
How can you go when he hath all your fleet?
I'll frame me wings of wax like Icarus, and o'er his ship will soar into the sun, that they may melt and I fall in his arms, or else I'll make a prayer unto the waves, that I might swim to him like Triton's niece. So, Anna, fetch Orion's harp, that I may tice a dolphin to the shore and ride upon his back unto my love. Look, sister, look, lovely Aeneas' ship. See the billows! Heave him up to heaven, and now down, 4 sickles into the deep. Oh, sister, take away that box! They'll break his ships! Oh, Proteus, Neptune, Jove! Save Aeneas, Dido's lifeless love! Now is he come ashore, safe, without hurt, but see, Achates wills him put to sea, and all the sailors merry make for joy. But he, remembering me, shrinks back again. See where he comes! Welcome, my love!
Ah, sister, leave these idle fantasies. Sweet sister, cease. Remember who you are.
Dido. I am, unless I be deceived. Must I rave thus for a renegade? Must I make ships for him to sail away? Nothing can bear me to him but a ship, and all my fleet. What shall I do but die in fury for this oversight? I must be murderer of myself, no. But I will be straight. Anna, be glad. Now have I found a mean to rid me from these thoughts of lunacy. Not far from hence, there is a woman famous for arts, daughter unto the nymph Cephrodis, who willed me sacrifice his ticing relics. Go, Anna, bid my servants bring me fire!
How long will Dido mourn a stranger's flight that hath dishonoured her and Carthage both? How long shall I with grief consume my days and reap no guerdon for my truest love?
Iarbus, talk not like Aeneas. Let him go. Lay to thy hands and help me make a fire that shall consume all that this stranger left, for I intend a private sacrifice to cure my mind that melts for unkind love.
But afterwards, will Dido grant me love?
Aye, Iarbus. After this is done, none but thou will have my love but thou. So leave me now. Let none approach this place. Now, Dido, with these relics, burn thyself and make Aeneas famous through the world for perjury and slaughter of a queen. Here lies thy sword. The sword that in that darksome cave he drew and swore by me to be me. Thou shalt find first! Thy crime is worse than his! Here lies the garment I clothed him in when first he came on shore. Perish thou too! These letters! Times and perjured papers, all shall burn to cinders in this precious flame. And now, ye gods, that guide us through this flame, and order all things at a high dispose. Grant thou that traitors land in Italy, that they may be still tormented with unrest, and from mine ashes let our conqueror rise, that may revenge this treason to the Queen, by climbing up his sword betwixt the spring and be known. Latera, Lectoribus, contrary fluctibus, ondas impreca, arma armis pugnat, ipstic, reportis, nils, balsanos, caestan, sic, pic,
Oh, help me! Iarbus, help! Dido in these flames hath burnt herself. Oh, me! Unhappy me!
I said Iarbus! Die! To expiate the grief that tires upon thine inward soul! Dido! I come to thee! Aeneas!
What can my tears or cries prevail me now? Dido is dead. Iarbus slain. Iarbus, my dear love. Oh, sweet Iarbus. Anna's sole delight. What fatal destiny envies me thus to see my sweet Iarbus slay himself? But Anna now shall honor thee in death, and mix her blood with thine. This shall I do, that gods and men may pity this my death, and rue our end, senseless of life or breath. Now, sweet Iarbus, stay, I come to thee.
Congratulations, all and one. Oh my gosh, everybody, please come back to stage, come back to stage, come back to stage, come back to stage. Let me see all your beautiful, beautiful, beautiful faces. Everybody back. Let me wait this nice and wise. I can see all your faces. Everybody hands up and take your bow. Fan-freaking-tastic. Woo-hoo! I'm going to take this opportunity to welcome to the stage my amazing associate producer, Ms. Honey Gabriel. Please step forward, Miss. Step forward.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Congratulations, everyone. Again, congratulations. We did it. Thank you to everyone who is watching us around the world at home. We are so grateful that you would join us tonight. Allow me to introduce you to the cast and crew of Dido, Queen of Carthage, starting with us, the crew. Firstly, myself. Hi, I'm Honey Gabriel. I was the associate director for this production. I'm a British-Nigerian actor, voiceover artist, and aspiring director from South London. And our illustrious captain, our director, Amelia Parron.
Hello, my darling. It's been an absolute pleasure. I introduced myself at the top. My name is Amelia Parron. I'm a London-based Caribbean creative, actor, director, empowerment coach, and healer. And it has been an absolute honor to do this.
Cool. Our associate producer, Andrew Pawaru.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrew Poirot, the associate producer. I'm an actor on the unceded land of Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, otherwise known as Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
And our incredible resident sound designer and composer, Adam Gibson.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm a sound designer and composer based in London, coming to you from Substage at Glyndebourne.
Love it. And our TSMGO lead producer, the incredible Matthew Rhodes.
Hi, I'm Matthew Rhodes. I use he, him pronouns. I'm an emerging theater artist on unceded Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh territory, commonly known as Vancouver, Canada.
And of course, we want to give a special thanks to our Month of Marlowe curator, Emily Ingram, our artistic director, Rob Miles, and our executive producer, Sarah Peachy. We love you all. And now for our immensely incredible cast. As Aeneas, Timothy Weston.
Hi, I'm Timothy Weston, played Aeneas. I'm a classical actor who also trained in ancient history and classics, and I reside in the ancient Roman city of Londinium.
As Ascanius, Sean Eleanor Green.
Hello, my name's Sean. I'm an actor and writer based in also Londinium, commonly known as London.
As Achates, Fred Arnot.
Hello, I'm Fred. I'm an actor and entertainer currently based in Bristol.
As Ilioneus, Tamara Theisen.
Hi, I'm Tamara. I'm an actor and I'm currently based in my hometown close to Munich in Germany.
As Cloanthus, Simon Willshire.
Hi everyone, I'm Simon. I'm an actor and singer based in London.
As the incredible Dido, Sojourner Hazelwood-Connell.
Hello everyone, my name is Sojourner Hazelwood-Connell. I'm based in London and I graduated from Drama Centre in September 2019. Thank you.
As Iarbus, Samuel Nunes de Souza.
My name is Samuel Nunes de Souza. I'm an actor and writer and founder of Obsidian Theatre Company, and I'm based in South London.
As Cupid, Judith Quin.
Hello, I am a vocal confidence specialist and voice vibration sound healer and actress, and I too am based in the southeast of London.
As Anna Chichi Onuah.
Hey, I'm an actor, mover, singer, and I'm currently based in Toronto, and thank you for joining us.
As the nurse and Carthagian Lord, Angel Dumapias.
Hi, I'm Angel Dumapias, actor, dancer, singer from Orange County, California, USA, and so happy to be here.
As Jupiter, Michael Herrera.
Hello, I'm Michael. I'm an actor, a writer, a theatre director, and a drama teacher. Thank you for joining us tonight.
As Venus, Meredith de Paolo Stevens.
Hi, I'm Meredith de Paula Stevens. I'm an actor, director, educator based in Greensboro, North Carolina.
As Ganymede and Sergestus, Ali Paul.
Hi, I'm Ali. I'm an actor, sound artist, and educator based in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
And now we come on to our valiant swings, who also were incredible members of our cast. We've got the incredible Rachel Chung, who played Juno as well.
Hello, I'm Rachel Chung. I am currently on the stolen territories of the Miamia, Shawandase Tula, Kaskaskia, and Oazaze peoples, among others, which is now known as Cincinnati, Ohio. Normally, I'm based in Scotland, where I'm a PhD student at the University of Edinburgh, in Shakespeare, of course.
And our incredible Mercury, Danielle Farrow.
Hello, I'm Danielle. I'm an actor and audiobook narrator in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Thank you to our entire cast. Please give yourselves another round of applause. You earned it, this insane work. So we have now got a couple of minutes left for some Q&A. So Matthew, are there any Q&A questions coming in from the audience, for the cast, for the crew? And in the meantime, as Matthew is compiling said questions, please, if you enjoyed the show, tell your friends, tell your families, tell your enemies, tell your neighbors, tell everyone. to sign up for our Patreon and to watch the shows. This is an incredible body of work. Remember to buy our merchandise at the Redbubble shop. Again, all links will be in the description box, and follow us on Twitter at TSMG Online Live on Twitter, and The Show Must Go Online on Facebook and Instagram. So Matthew, got any questions coming through?
Nothing so far, but there were actually some questions or some discussion earlier in the performance. The first one was that everybody started to notice orange, and a lot of people were talking about Troilus and Cressida. So actually, one question that I think would be great to start off with is, where did you pull inspiration for some of the ideas within the play? Because they also, our amazing groundlings also noticed a lot of similarities across other plays the TSMGO has done. So I would love to hear both from the production team and from the cast what similarities and what themes you started to pick up that would be familiar to TSMGO audiences.
I'll go first on the orange. So I was like, when we were doing our R&D, I said, oh, what colour should the Trojans wear? And I was like, there have been Trojans in past shows in Shakespeare. Like, yes, Troilus and Cressida. And I was like, yeah, what colour did they wear? Orange. I was like, that's my favourite colour. We're going with that.
That was literally how the decision got made. That was it. It's very short.
I was like, that works. Yeah. I was like, what the Carthaginians wear? I was like, what's a royal colour? Royal blue. Let's go with royal blue. I like, royal blue and orange. They work really well together. Yeah, I like this.
And that was literally it.
You both had a very conscious thought to keep the canon going, didn't you?
Yes.
Troilus and Cressida.
Yes, we did. And also call back to different things.
Get in.
Yeah, as many things that we could call back to. We really tried to cram into this. I think we did a pretty decent job. Can I say what my favourite was?
Yes.
And these come out of late night chats that we had that would just descend into some sort of madness, I think. Was, as I think Matthew said, was going off in the chat, our sacrifice of the porg. We knew we had to sacrifice an animal, and we were just like, oh, I wonder what we could say. Oh, could it be like a sheep? I don't like sheep, so I was like, yeah, go for it. Sacrifice sheep, go for it. And he was like, oh, maybe it'll be a goat. Oh, maybe we could use some of the footage from The Winter's Tale, like goat footage, like kill a goat. And I just went, why don't we just kill a porg? I feel like it was quite a big part of the Shakespeare section with the Indesha. I went, yeah, why don't we just kill a porg? No, we decided to kill a porg. And all love and respect to porgs. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Apologies if that was unsightly for some viewers, but it was really funny for us. And we kept it a secret from the rest of the cast, so they were all reacting backstage. Only Meredith and Savion knew about the porg, and of course the production team. So they were all going crazy. But it's like, is that a porg? Yes, it's a porg. We did it. So yeah, that's my favourite in the show.
Be like a callback.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, if any of the cast have any things that they wanted to say. Come on, you.
Well done on the Latin, Sojourner.
Thank you. I've literally been going over it. I'm going to get this Latin. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who helped put this together. It's been like a flash in the pan. It's less, just over a week. And this has been so much fun. So thank you all for just being part of this. It's been amazing.
We actually have some more questions going. One of them being, why do you think this play is not often performed?
It's problematic.
Oh, we've stumped them, have we?
Well, it's problematic in its various forms.
And I think it's multi-layered and a lot of... I think possibly it might be a little bit of the problematic element, and it might be where people are like, I don't really know how to unpick all of these things, because it's not even long enough for you to unpick all the BS that happens in the like, me and Honey were like, there are so many layers now.
Yeah, that's a lot. We're just gonna have to pick a couple things to go with, because if I do everything, we'll be here forever and they'll end up in tears.
I think as well, like the issue around consent is so huge within it, because you see Dido only in like a scene and a half as her normal self, and then she's suddenly something else because of this poison and this Cupid's arrow. So I think something,
the whole thing regarding the gods and their kind of playing with human lives, and how that can reflect itself in nowadays with government, stuff like that. But yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely, while like the speeches are lovely and everything's so beautifully written, as Margo had said, it's definitely just a bunch of, as you said, Honey, problematic elements to it. And it makes it kind of hard at times to watch, I think.
Yeah.
Because the plot points and even some of the language gets a little bit, putting it lightly, cringy.
Yeah.
I'm going to come from a different angle and just say, really? Because Merchant of Venice gets done all the time. So is that the reason? Because there are plays that get done a lot that, you know, aren't or as just as problematic theme-wise maybe as this. Maybe it's just that people know Marlowe less.
I think,
and maybe it's just not as...
I mean, that is a good question. Why do we never see Marlowe plays on the London stage, for example, where we see Shakespeare all the time?
I think it's just overshadowed by Shakespeare. Honestly, I think it's Shakespeare is known as the thing with the language in that you listen to. And even though there's plenty of other playwrights from the same period doing the same kind of thing, Shakespeare's so prolific as well that that's who you'll automatically go to. But you're right, we do have things like Merchant of Venice.
Othello, that's very problematic.
Othello.
You know.
Even Medea, I know that's an ancient play, but that gets performed all the time. Very heavy themes in that one. So I think it might just be an exposure thing.
And your average audience may not be well versed in all the mythology references, so it makes it a little more difficult.
It's not enough people being obsessed about the Aeneid, that's what I say. More people being obsessed with the Aeneid would make this play perform more.
I think it's also, there's so much to think about in terms of how do you put a fire on stage, and how, like, there are so many elements, which you can do if you have the budget. But I think because Marlowe isn't as, you know, prolific as Shakespeare in that we love to do him, it becomes, where do you find the money to then put on this show, and will people come to it? I think people would, but I think that might be a question for producers.
I think that's the nail on the head. It's just Marlowe isn't as financially viable as Shakespeare, so Marlowe gets done less, because I think we created a damn good fire with whatever you were doing, just with a fan and your flickering light. So I think a lot of it is probably financial.
And don't forget our fabulous wood.
Oh yes, incredible wood that was brought on.
Yes, can't forget that.
I'm keeping it at home as a memory.
Yeah,
I'm going to put it in a frame actually, make an artwork of it.
Love it. Any other questions, Andrew?
Yes, we do. What is wrong with Aeneas? What are your personal opinions on your character's choice?
I did not mean for that to come out. Oh God. I mean, love you, Timothy, but also a lot. I mean, one of the themes we did try to tackle in this is, in all honesty, it is clear that a lot of these Trojans are suffering with PTSD. They've just come from a truly gory and bloody war that kind of felt for naught. And so there are a lot of feelings and trauma associated with that. So you can want to feel sorry for him because of that. I mean, I don't, but...
You're right. It was a 10-year war.
Exactly. That is a very long time to be fighting. So you can understand the things he possibly has seen and how that kind of outworks in the way he behaves with other people now. I mean, you see it in storytelling. Yeah, that too. His mother.
Plus, the end of the war was the complete destruction of his home and culture.
That too.
And why?
Just that little thing.
And father, and mentor.
Little things like that.
The second part to that question then is, I think, directed to Timothy. What are your personal opinions of on your character's choices?
I think that Aeneas doesn't feel that he has many choices. I think the one choice that he has, if there is a choice, is he falls in love with Dido, and that he truly, like, all his feelings for her are true, and that's what he feels because of who she is and her actions and all that is, kind of true emotions. But most of his other most of the things that he does because he's been told by the gods, or because when he has made a decision to go away to Italy, Dido tells him to stay, and he doesn't want to. I think that but what he does with leaving, I think, is kind of it's destiny and duty, and I think that he's the kind of person who does things because he feels he has to, even if they make him feel bad. I mean, especially if they make him feel bad. It's that kind of like whole, it's not really duty if you want to do it. So he's fine with, not fine, but he feels that it's an inevitable path to turn away from the things he wants to do in order to do what he should. I don't know.
Nice.
Rock in a hard place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next question we have is for everybody. How much do you think the tragedy of Dido is the responsibility of the lead characters, and how much the machination of the gods?
I have a one-word answer to that. Oopsie.
There's Cupid just with the wings. Dancing.
I'd say a huge amount of it is kind of the gods. I mean, yes, everyone has human decisions, but none of the situations are there unless the gods have done it. Even the Trojan War is a result of the gods just wanting to be called the most attractive. Literally, that's the judgment of Paris, some gods wanting to be called the fairest. And that's how the Trojan War starts. And then, 10 years of war and horror. And then the events of this play. It's all just because of complete selfishness from the gods. The Greek gods are notoriously quite selfish and terrible people, which is fun.
Pleasure-led.
Literally, very pleasure-led.
Almost like it's the gods' sort of big brother, like they get so much enjoyment from it. Because there are so many points where they could have just been like, give her the antidote or something. And she'd just been like, what am I doing? I promised I'd love Zacchaeus forever, and here I am falling in love with someone who's probably going to run away anyway. Like, technically, potentially could have changed, but they just sort of enjoyed watching and, having fun with the mortals.
And of course, regardless of Dido and Aeneas' relationship, Jupiter ultimately says, go, or else. So you have to blame him, I suppose, for breaking them up.
Yeah, it's all Jupiter's fault.
Because if Jupiter hadn't said to Aeneas, you have to go, would he have stayed?
And I feel like he would have. I feel like he would have stayed.
I think it's interesting to kind of looking through the play, especially as we played it, with Dido being, she's the wonderful epitome of a ruler. She has this just state which is bringing people in, treating them wonderfully, kind of steering her course through diplomatically through people like Iarbus and things like this. Is if she hadn't been made to fall in love with Aeneas, she probably would have just given all the Trojans, here's some cool boats, go. And then like Rome and Carthage would be super pals forever. But that's not destiny, is it?
Anyone
Humans
else?
are always humans are always getting through life by dealing with the things we can't control. So in this play, that's the gods representing what we can't control. So maybe in the end, we need to take responsibility ourselves. But that said, they really messed with Dido.
There's an enormous amount of irony in all of these humans sort of serving a higher power, and Aeneas saying, well, I serve destiny and I have to found the Roman people and I have enormous weight on my shoulders, and the gods are just serving themselves. Like the gods are like, I don't care about destiny. I'm annoyed. And so the humans think that they're serving this higher power when really the gods are like, they don't care.
And inevitably to serve one god is to piss off 3 others.
There's something to be said about like people with a lot of power, in this case the gods, not really caring about the consequences of people who are less important than them until it's too late, if ever. You know, you make decisions and you don't, it's a game to you and it trickles down and the consequences are kind of arbitrary to you until it's too late.
Feels very relevant for today.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where me and Honey ended up going when we were discussing. When I read the play, so bearing in mind, I'm going to be completely honest. When I said I wanted to do this, I hadn't read the play. When I read the play, I threw the book across the room. That's how pissed off I was. And I swear I was only, this is after, we hadn't even taken the tackling off the ships at this point. I didn't even know the ending was coming. So I was hella like angry. For so many different reasons. But when me and Honey sat and spoke about it, we were like, it's that weird thing of, nowadays we have all of these people in power who are supposedly elected by us, but not really. And they're not communicating with each other. So all of these things, they're just flinging out all of these rules and commands with no consideration of the impact or the consequences. And then when, quite frankly, shit hits the fan, they're all like, we don't know what happened. You did it. No, you did it. No, you did it. No, you are all in power. And now all the little people out under here are the ones, they're like, oh, well, that happened. But there's never lessons learned. And that's why me and Honey, when we were talking, she was like, I feel like it can't just end with deaths.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, cool. I agree with you. She's like, we feel like the gods should see what they've done. I was like, great, cool. We'll have them on stage. She was like, what? I was like, yeah, we'll have them on stage. Have them see consequence and let the audience see them, because in real life, we never get to see them witness the BS that they are responsible for. So we're like, yeah, let the audience, the watchers, watch the gods react to this. And I said to each of the gods, I said, what is the honest reaction from you? And they each had, like, Cupid was like, oopsie, it means nothing. Hermes is like, well, this is
work.
Juno is like, dag nabbit, this is not the way it was meant to go. But it's not so much like, she's maybe a little bit upset because I think she's one of the gods of Carthage. But Juno's more upset because Juno's didn't get her way. And Venus is like sad that this happened, but Ascanius and Aeneas are safe. Yeah. So do they care? Probably not. And where's
I loved the conscious choice that you made as costume designer role to put the gods in kind of a corporate, just a little twist, a corporate twist on it. I really like that. I hope it played to the audience what you're saying there. Yeah.
Yes, I hope that. Another thing we did with that was the Trojans are essentially refugees. And I wanted to highlight that in real life, what's portrayed to us, unfortunately, through the media is that refugees are like some of the words used is absolutely horrendous. Oh, they're the scum of the earth. They're running. I'm sorry. When was you last in a war-torn country? Firstly. And secondly, the people who are able to escape are the ones that are educated, the ones that have money, the ones who are middle and upper class, who have the money to get on the rickety ships and boats and blow up things that they have in the oceans. The people who are the poorest of those nations couldn't even think of escaping. So, and unfortunately, a lot of countries are very open and welcoming, but the people who run those countries do all of these things to twist the people as long as it's no longer relevant or beneficial to them. And this is one of the things I really wanted to highlight with this piece. Unfortunately, so many people get twisted in human exchange. And it's because a lot of the time people aren't talking. People aren't having these conversations. And communication is key for everything as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I'm glad we got to show both of those things. Yeah, I really hated it because we had the conversation. I was like, did he like not finish the play? I was like, I thought there should be more.
Yeah.
Like, we just end with death. Like, but what about all the trouble they caused? Like, don't they get to come back and look? And of course, we can't add words because, of course, Marlowe has written what Marlowe has written. I went, I need them to see what they caused because I feel like I need those in power to also witness some of the destruction that they cause. And at least we could get to do it on the Zoom stage today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought he hadn't finished the play.
Yeah. Our next question is for Cupid.
Hey.
What did you discover about your role as the god in preparation for and in the performance?
Yeah, anyone who knows me knows I'm not the world's biggest research person. But, you know, what the point of being a god is you're a god. That's the thing. It's not, and I think very often, you know, in plays that I've done before, and anything to do with the gods or the fates or the temptation is very much like people do with their pets. Right? It's to personify them and make them more human, but the gods aren't. That's the whole point. So yeah, in answer to your question, what I did was I checked out a few bits about Cupid. I checked out about different ways Cupid's been represented, and of course Eros and the same but different. And the one thing that really stuck out from the bits of Googling that I did do was the capriciousness of Cupid, and that actually Cupid is known for just letting arrows fly wherever they will and land where they land. And, you know, if people can handle it, they can handle it. And if they can't, they can't. And, you know, in the case of poor Dido, she got 3 good stabbings there. So
real
yeah, that's really what gave me that kind of element of Cupid's doing what his mum asked. And they're the boss gods. You know, yeah, Cupid's a god, but, you know, not a boss god. So doing what I'm told and letting the arrows fly and see what's happening. And actually what was interesting for me in the last scene, in the watching, is just the real disappointment that I felt with Iarbus and with Anna. Because I'm like, oh, for goodness sake, like, you know, I didn't even enhance you guys and you're taking yourself out of it. But, oh well, next, let's go see where we can play and have some fun. So there we go. That was my thing.
The thunderstorm or something. This question is for Amelia. Sorry, just stuff happening. Did the deaths of all the Black people at the end, except for Ganymede, have an underlying message?
So when I read this play, I then went and looked up all the versions I could find in existence that were recorded. Bar, I think, the National Theatre, I kid you not, found no representations of Black people in the roles of the Libyans. Not even Arab representation. Yes, I think it was the RSC. And I was like confused. I said, hold on a second. And I read through the text again. I was like, this makes no sense to me. So I was like, okay. And I felt like that might have been a choice, as in the sense that they decided not to cast diverse actors, or it may have been a conscious choice of, if we cast Black actors or Arab actors, then we then have to explain why they all die at the end. And maybe they just didn't want to have that conversation. Or they just didn't care about the casting, and Dido was Greek. In most of them, Dido looked Greek or Spanish. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to make this, at the very least, somewhat ethnically correct as best I can. So I was like, and if that means the Black people die at the end, well, that's the truth of the text. If the text says this, then the text says this. I see no reason why we should shy away from it. We should have the conversation. It is what it is. The gods intervened, the Greek gods intervened, and the Black people died at the end. And it was what it was, really. And I don't think we should hide from that. This is what, 1594? I think some along those lines.
I think
it was the time in which this was written. As Margo said earlier on, this was the height of the transatlantic slave trade was well underway. The Caribbean was full of plantations. Banks were loaning out loans and insuring humans like cattle. So I'm just like, they knew Black people existed. And I'm just like, why shy away from it? That's like my thing on that.
And I think we have time for one more question.
Wonderful.
So many great speeches in this play. I'd love to hear from the cast and crew, and especially those who spoke the speeches. What's your favorite?
Ooh. Should we go around? Aeneas? Timothy?
All of Troy. Hands down. It goes forever, and it's great.
It takes forever, but it's great storytelling, and Timothy did an incredible job of taking us through that journey of the destruction and pain that he saw. So bravo to him, like, nailed that. Sojourner, what was your favorite?
I think mine is the one where she's talking to, like, the tackling and the oars. Originally it wasn't, because I was like, how do you do this? And then the moment you actually look at the things and realise that she's trying to actually get something from them, it becomes, it makes you understand more about where her mindset is, I think. And I just ended up finding it really, not enjoyable exactly, but yeah, there were so many things that I suddenly found in it. And also just that bit with Anna where she's in some other space and seeing things. Yeah, I just think they're so well written, and they're so interesting in, like, what is her psychology at this point? What state is she in? That I love about them.
Yeah, it was both heartbreaking and mesmerizing at the same time. And then that moment of Anna pulling you back, like, remember who you are. And you're like, wait, who am I? But it was absolutely just breathtaking. Anyone else? Iarbus, that soliloquy. Oh. You're on mute.
You want me to speak? Hi. Oh my God. No. There's so many great speeches. It's very well written and very well acted. Like, Timothy, that first speech is like, I feel like it's 10% of the entire play, on your own. Like genuinely, like it's like a good 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm just sitting here drinking the drink. It's fantastic. Your the way you acted that was throughout the rehearsals and tonight was just amazing. Sojourner, that last speech, jeez, with the fan and everything, my G. I think my favorite one for me to perform was definitely the first soliloquy when he's just about to, when he has the idea to get revenge on Aeneas, just because it's just nice to delve into that grit, into that character. I love that. And also, although my favorite bit is that.
The porg.
The porg. Jeez, you told me yesterday. Oh, it's fun. It was fun. Yeah.
We had the idea a couple of days ago. We only told him yesterday, so we practiced it yesterday. And Meredith has the other porg coming in
the middle of dress too, just to confuse them.
Can you guys hold on and hold back for like just after everyone's gone? Bye, everyone. Bye, bye, bye. Okay, they're glitch. We are killing the porg.
So funny. So
that was
funny. I bought this today.
There's one more bit I really enjoy in this play, and it's not as much because it's this wonderful bit of language or anything like that, or this beautiful enriched bit of text. It's the moment where Dido's first hit by Cupid's arrows, and it's one of the only bits of this play that I actually genuinely find quite comedic, where she goes from being this very regal queen and suddenly just becomes this lovesick puppy, but like a lovesick puppy that might rip your face off. And I love like her just like throwing Iarbus aside and just these really weird moments. And then, as an actor listening to it, because there's these big beefy bits of text, as an actor listening to it and just listening to what she's saying and just kind of going, where did you what happened here? And I just love those weird, awkward situations, especially when they're really extreme and very high stakes. So I think that bit's great. And wonderfully performed as well.
She was great. No acting required. You were great as a journalist. Okay. Great, cool.
Comments at you, like peasants and dumps. It was just.
You call me a peasant.
Yes, you did.
Dump.
Wow.
What?
A whole king you called a peasant.
You know what I mean? I'm a whole king, you know.
A whole king.
And I'm lovely.
Like, you know that she's lost all her diplomacy in that moment. Like, it's just gone.
Yes. I think for me, what I absolutely adored was really getting in and pulling out the changes. So I'm a fan of dissecting text. And as a director, I love to help. I'm like, I'm not going to tell you where the changes are, but I'm going to hint. And I'm going to be like, follow the thoughts. And for me, the most beautiful thing is where one by one, everyone started going, oh, there's a thought change there. Oh, I'm like, lean into that and pull that apart and explore, just get in there and explore that. And I think everyone did that so well. And I was like, so proud. I was like, yes.
The word I used in the chat was sublime. Like those thought changes, just, like butter. Like butter.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Is that it with the questions? I think we've come to the end. Matthew, take us home.
Thank you all again for joining us. Another giant round of applause for this incredible cast. You have the link. Come back and watch it again. And next week, same time, same place, we present Dr. Faustus. We were just saying that Marlowe doesn't get shown enough on the London stage, at least. I don't think I've ever seen a Marlowe play here in Vancouver. But The Show Must Go Online does Marlowe. We continue next week. Dr. Faustus. And then after that comes the Marlowe Lives Cabaret. We're halfway through the month of Marlowe, but there's still so much joy to come. So Make sure
Awesome.
you come back next week. Come join us again. And over to Amelia to say a final goodbye.
Yes. Right, my darlings, thank you so much. It has been an absolute honor to have you join us from your homes, your sofas, your cars, your workplaces, wherever you are in the world. I thank you so much for joining us for Dido, Queen of Carthage, with The Show Must Go Online. I wish you a fantastic day. Bye.
See you, everybody.
I love this bit.